How do young people get the power to drive decisions that affect us?
This is what we do at the Life Changes Trust.
When I walked into that Edinburgh office, not knowing anybody, I didn't realise that actually 5.5 years later I would walk away with so many friends and a family.
How did the Life Changes Trust Advisory Group come about?
Our remit is to create transformational change for young people with care experience. So we were really keen to have an advisory group of people who had their own lived experience of the care system, who would work alongside us and really influence us, advise us on our work.
Originally we only got given one initiative, Aspiration Awards, which then kind of snowballed into all different initiatives, and then they kind of had the faith in us and trust in us to take control of and create new initiatives.
Between the trust and the advisory group, who has power and makes decisions?
Me. I am the boss. If you ask everyone, it's me. I would say we all have the power, but then the advisory group, I think, maybe just have a tad little bit more power.
We really are embedded at the start of everything. The idea, the planning, the risk management, the taking it to committee, us then saying, right, what does that look like? How do we want to distribute it? Timelines, evaluation. We haven't been parachuted at the end for that photo, for that bit of promo to say, this is the advisory group. Actually, we have genuinely been through the good, the bad, the ugly.
What do you get from being part of the group?
I used to say I was always bossy, but now I've learned it's leadership skills. I've got good leadership skills.
Trust have put me through my housing qualification. It's not just take. Do you know how much they embrace us and they want us to do well?
I know personally I've come a long way. I've done so many different things that I just wouldn't have.
We went to Edinburgh to speak at the Parliament, and we were in front of all these posh people. And at first I felt a bit like, oh God, I didn't think we were professional enough to maybe go and speak at the Parliament, because I always thought that was very high-end, well-paid people. To me that was whoa, we've made it. Do I get a blue tick on Twitter yet? Sometimes you tend to ask to tell your story, tell your life story, what were the reasons you were in care for, but that is something the Trust never asked us to disclose, and that was something that I thought was really good, because sometimes people might not want to tell their story, and I've always said being care experience doesn't define me who I am. That was just part of the journey I had to overcome to become who I am.
When I was younger, participation wasn't there, and I just don't know if there was a space or the mechanisms for children, young people's voice to be truly listened, heard, understood, acted upon and implemented. I think our group has allowed little Lydia to have that voice, and I think within our group, little Lydia has been able to have her voice heard.
What do you think it was like for the staff in the Trust to work with people like us with experience of care?
I don't really know, but because we came in I was going to say a herd of elephants. I think it brought enjoyment more to the work maybe.
Having the advisors has helped us to do our work better. You bring an experience, a perspective, a knowledge that as staff members we just can't have. Really early on it became clear that we weren't going to be setting the agenda. You all came in, you had your own ideas about what you wanted to do. You challenged us, we challenged you. You started to influence us across all of our ways of working.
Tell us what the most surprising thing has been about working with the group.
The amount of work that you guys get through. It was literally kind of 9 o'clock, we're starting to design this. By 11 o'clock, we'll be onto the criteria. By 12 o'clock, we'll be doing the application form. You know, you're blitzing in a day and a half work that maybe as members of staff we might take a couple of months to do.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges about making this work?
I think there needs to be a level of trust, and I think for me that's what relational working is all about. Once you've got that foundation, the sky's the limit really. You know, there's so much that you can do together. You don't get that innovation, you don't get that fresh thinking unless there is a bit of back and forth, a bit of disagreement.
What impact do you think us as advisors had on the Life Changes Trust?
From the outside looking in, what I'd say is there's a different tone around Life Changes Trust. Over the time, some of the fund's practice has probably become more deliberately inclusive, you know, using its platform to make sure that the people it works with are well heard.
Do you think it's hard for staff to sort of give up that power?
I think sometimes it's hard. I think some folk do like having power, but I also think some folk would give it away, but they don't know how.
What was it like when we were wrestling you for power?
Of course, it's hard to give up power. It's not sort of usual practice within the funding world. We believe that you do make better decisions when you involve the people that you're working with.
What difference did we make?
We've had a couple of staff that have never had the opportunity to work directly with people in the way that we do at the Trust, and they've described that as being life-changing for them. This is going to sound cheesy, but I'll say it anyway. I feel like I'm a better person for doing this work, I really do. And seeing you all grow in confidence and stature and see your ideas kind of come to fruition. We probably didn't really have the sense of just how big and how wide this could go, and it's been a real joy to be part of that.
Can you tell me what aspirational awards are?
Individual grants for young people with care experience aged between 18 to 25 for an aspiration that would help them in the future.
From wanting to open up their own business to wanting to go and travel the world, to want to go and do volunteer opportunities.
We were in charge of everything, like from the name, from how much we would allocate per award, to writing the application.
I remember the blood, sweat, slog and tears, residential months of agony going, why are we here? What do we want to do?
It's really good that being able to be trusted with like over £200,000 from the Trust, because being in care you tend to always get stigmatised, but being able to be given £200,000 to kind of control and to determine who's getting what and how it's getting allocated was like just really strong and powerful for myself, because I think if I thought 10 years ago, no way would anyone trust me with over like £200,000. When we first started Aspiration Awards, people thought, oh, you're giving young people a lot of money. Like, how do you know they'll spend it right? How do you know they'll market it right? Like, you're giving them all the power.
What, you're going to give a young person £5,000? And I actually think it was a committee that says, why aren't you doing vouchers? And we says, would you give your son or daughter vouchers? No, well, we're not giving ours either. What's good for your child is good enough for us. We're going to show them that we trust them.
When we were giving successful applicants a pat, we put something personal into the gift bags. So I think there was an applicant that wanted to go to cooking school. We went to buy like a mini whisk and we kind of wrote them a letter.
We gave people the respect, the dignity, the love that maybe wasn't there before, and we wanted to kind of say, here you go, this is for you. And I think Aspirational Awards is everything that we wanted maybe when we were younger.
We used what we learned from Aspiration Awards and decided to create another initiative called My Choice and My Future.
I'm Ian and I received an individual grant from the Life Changes Trust. So I received my grant to pursue further education, and at that moment in time I'd kind of hit a brick wall. So when I came across Life Changes Trust, it was like, hold on a minute, like There's a charity giving people help for people like me.
So do you think the grant scheme would have been the same if it had been made by sort of typical professionals?
If the grant scheme was made by typical professionals, I'm not sure it would have been relatable. I'm not sure it would have inspired me to apply. When I seen the application, I was like, yeah, this is something I can fill in. It most definitely spoke to me. Fast forward a couple of months later, I got the acceptance for the award and I was just overwhelmed. This is the first time in my life that I've had a chance like this.
Do you think that people really understand what care experienced young people are capable of?
No. We can achieve amazing things, we can do amazing things, and a lot of care experienced people they have raw talent, and sometimes that talent isn't harnessed. That's the amazing thing about something positive like this. When someone gives you a chance, it's so important, and it gives you that confidence.
The Home and Belonging programme, yeah, it's been something special. Having a member of the advisory group, assigned to our organisation to work as our advisor, whenever we see each other, there'll be hugs and whatnot. And you don't often get the urge to hug a lot of people associated with funders.
What was the Home and Belonging initiative?
So Home and Belonging was one of our funding initiatives. It was a £4 million initiative, so it's quite a large one, about trying to discover that sense of home and belonging for young people who are ready to move on from care.
Professionals and young people could apply to turn projects in potentially support accommodations environments more into a home environment, a safe environment for the young people that they can go to as their safe space.
Right the way through, we worked with the advisory group to design the initiative, to get applications in and to make final decisions. And the two-day event was about that. It was about making sure that we didn't have professionals just sitting round the table talking away. They had to engage with young people, they had to create models, they had to draw diagrams, they had to really sort of test out the ideas that they wanted to develop.
What do you think the professionals got out of it, sort of from having our support and advice and perspective?
So we were in the prototyping exercise and they were speaking about this is the kitchen and this is the staff room. And I says, why does it need to be a staff room? And why can't we call that the chillax room? That's where you guys go to sleep, but that's also a space in a children's house that they can go and chill out. Do you think your staff room it makes somebody feel like it's their home and they belong? He's going to go away and think that it's my work, but it is their home. And that's what we want to happen.
What was the most important thing about that grant? Was it the money?
Well, no. The most important thing about the Home and Belonging process was the learning, the skills that I gained, and the processes we now have in place, for supporting co-design as we go forward as an organisation. And that has been a massive benefit beyond the money. The facilitation, the training, the tools we got was what made the difference.
Has that affected your work after the project?
I'm actually very pleased to say it has. As an organisation, we'll often design programmes as professionals. We would often find that in the first few months or within the first year that certain elements of that were not working. But on this occasion, we were confident from the start that this is what care experienced people would need because they've told us and they've designed this. So whenever we're looking at new projects or even developing part of an existing project, it's where's the co-design.
Seeing advisors really taking their place and leading a lot of the activity that was happening, for us as staff, I think that felt quite a special moment. We thought, yes, this is what we've been working to.
The people that you want to make the change for, they need to be involved. What are we going to do about this? Not what am I going to do about this or what are you going to do about it? It's what are we going to do?
Co-production is a bit of a buzzword. Can you tell me sort of what it means to you?
So it's about sharing power, it's about designing something together and being willing to learn and use the expertise of other people to arrive at a better solution.
Do you think co-production is easy?
No, it's really hard. And doing it well is really hard because it takes skill, it takes resilience and perseverance.
So why bother do it? What is the value of co-production?
If you want to solve a complicated problem, you need a lot of different perspectives on that problem. I can't think of a single funding organisation that wouldn't benefit from engaged, thoughtful conversations with people about what they do with a view to changing or adapting what they do based on what they hear.
Would you say co-production is easy?
I mean, the honest answer has to be no. You can't expect people just to parachute into a situation where, you know, big decisions might be getting made without having created that foundation. But for us, the benefits have really kind of shown that investment's so worthwhile. What it's been about really is about trying to create time and space to really get to know people. Sometimes people look at that as a bit of a luxury or feel that's not realistic to invest in that kind of way. But actually, I would flip that round a little bit and say, well, what's the consequences if you don't do that? You're going to miss out enormously in what is possible. At the beginning, it can feel uncertain. If you trust the process, if you let go a little bit, that's when you can really create the space for innovation, fresh thinking, real magic.
If we have shown anything is co-production works, but that recipe, it needs to kind of have everything in it. It needs to have autonomy and it needs to have mutual respect.
If any other organisation was looking into co-production, what advice and hot tips would you give them?
I'd say do it. Do it today. Take every chance you can to hear from the people you seek to support and work with.
You can't be too scared to fail. And you know, having that honesty of this worked but that didn't. If you don't succeed first time, that doesn't mean that you just give up.
If we can do it, actually, lots of people can do it. It's not as difficult as you think it is. So yeah, just get started. Don't be afraid. Be brave.
When we set it up, we didn't really know what it was going to be. It's been wild, it's been really, really good. It's something that I hold really, really kind of close to my heart and it's the coolest thing ever.